All right, let's dive into one of the biggest debates in all of sociology, positivism versus interpretivism. Now, that might sound a little academic, but trust me, this is a fundamental clash over how we should even begin to study society. Understanding this is like getting the secret decoder ring for all social research.
So, to get our heads around this, let's start with a simple question. Imagine your favorite sports team is just on an unbelievable winning streak. I mean, they just can't lose. If you had to figure out why, what's their secret, how would you do it? Seriously, what's your first instinct? Where do you even start? So, are you the kind of person who would immediately dive into the numbers? You'd be crunching the stats, looking at possession percentages, win-loss records, all that data? Or would you want to get into that locker room, talk to the players, interview the coach, and try to understand their mindset, the team chemistry, what they believe in? Well, in sociology, that choice between the cold, hard numbers and the human story isn't just a small preference. It's a massive philosophical divide. It changes everything.
Okay, first up, let's look at the positivist approach. The best way to think about a positivist sociologist is to picture a forensic scientist at a crime scene. They're all about the hard, observable evidence. They're looking for patterns, clues, and fingerprints to piece together exactly what happened in the most objective way possible. At its heart, positivism has this one really powerful idea that the social world operates according to laws, just like the natural world. I mean, think about it. Physics has the law of gravity, right? Well, positivists believe that sociology can uncover the laws that govern human behavior. For them, sociology isn't just like a science, it is a science. So what's in their toolkit? Well, positivists see society as being made up of these huge external structures, things like the economy, the family, the education system. And they argue that these structures push and pull on us, kind of like social gravity, shaping our behavior whether we realize it or not. To study this, they focus on quantitative data. That's numbers, stats, things you can count. And the researcher has to be a detached, objective observer, making sure their own feelings and biases don't mess up the results. And the guy who really championed this whole way of thinking was the founder of sociology himself, Auguste Comte. His argument was pretty straightforward. Hey, if scientists can figure out the laws of nature, why can't we do the same for human society? For him, that was the ultimate mission. And this brings us to an absolutely crucial concept for positivists, being value-free. This is the gold standard. It means that a researcher has to be able to completely separate their personal beliefs, their politics, their religion, their opinions, from their work. The goal is pure, untainted objectivity. Okay, now let's flip the coin completely. If the positivist is our forensic scientist, the interpretivist is more like an investigative journalist. They're not just interested in what happened, they want to know why. They want to get inside the story to understand the human drama behind the events. The whole argument for interpretivism starts with a really simple but profound point. People aren't rocks. We're not planets just spinning in orbit. We have consciousness, we have feelings, thoughts, and free will. We don't just react to outside forces. We interpret the world around us, and we make choices based on those interpretations. And that makes studying people fundamentally different from studying, say, chemistry. You see, for interpretivists, society isn't some big external structure that forces itself on us. Nope. It's something we all actively build every single day through our conversations and interactions. And because of that, human behavior is pretty unpredictable. So their goal isn't to find some universal law, but to understand the subjective meanings that people give to their own actions. To do that, the researcher can't be detached. They have to get in close and see the world through their subject's eyes. This leads us to the key idea for interpretivism, a German word from the sociologist Max Weber, verstehen. It basically translates to empathetic understanding. It's the idea that to truly get why people do what they do, you have to be able to, in a sense, walk a mile in their shoes. You have to see the world from their unique point of view. So this huge philosophical difference leads to totally different priorities. Positivists are obsessed with reliability. They're always asking, if someone else did my exact same study, would they get the exact same results? It's all about consistency. Interpretivists, on the other hand, they prioritize validity. They ask a different question. Does my research give a deep, rich, and true picture of what's really going on here, even if it's a one-off study that can't be perfectly replicated? So what does this all boil down to? Well, it's really a battle over the meaning of one word: scientific. Positivists argue that for sociology to be a real science, it has to play by the same rules as the natural sciences, like physics or biology. But what exactly are those rules? Well, the sociologist Robert Merton actually laid out what he called the scientific ethos, with 4 key norms. First, there's universalism. It doesn't matter who you are, your research is judged by objective standards. Then communalism. All scientific knowledge is shared openly with everyone. Third is disinterestedness. You're searching for truth, not for personal profit. And finally, skepticism. Every single idea is open to being questioned and challenged. For positivists, this is the playbook for how science has to work. Okay, so let's put our 2 detectives side by side. The positivist, our forensic scientist, wants to explain behavior. Their key value is objectivity, and they act as a detached observer looking at big, external structures. The interpretivist, our investigative journalist, wants to describe meanings. Their key value is empathy, that verstehen we talked about. They're an active participant trying to understand subjective experience. See? 2 totally different ways of investigating the same world.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this is an interesting academic argument, but why does any of this actually matter in the real world? And that's a fair question. Well, it matters a whole lot because the approach you take completely determines the kind of answers you get about our society. Let's make this super concrete. Imagine we want to study school achievement. A positivist might conduct a huge survey of thousands of students looking for correlations between exam scores and family income. They'd get a big picture statistical answer. An interpretivist, though, would do something totally different. They might spend months, even a year, inside a single classroom, just observing the day-to-day interactions between students and teachers to get a deep, nuanced understanding of that specific school's culture. Both are totally valid, but look at how different the results would be.
And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. Our forensic scientists and our investigative journalists are both hunting for the truth, but they find different kinds of truth. The tools they pick, the giant survey or the in-depth interview, literally shape the reality they're able to see. Your method doesn't just find the answer, it helps create it.
So I'll leave you with this to chew on. When you look at your own life, which lens feels more true? Do you feel like your life is mostly shaped by these big, unseen social forces like the economy or your social class? Or is it more about the individual meanings you create every day with the people around you? The truth is, the best and most powerful research today often tries to do both. It uses the positivist data to see what's happening on a massive scale, and then uses the interpretivist's empathy to understand why it's happening for the real people living through it. It's only by using both toolkits that we start to get the clearest picture of this complicated world of ours.